Starless Dusk, Chapter 1. It's hot. I loved the weather in Arizona for that reason. Rain and cold are scarce as an ace of spades. The windows of Carol's, my mother's, minivan were rolled down. The air was slowly but surely getting colder. I inched towards Dylan, my boyfriend. He wrapped his arms around me, causing my heart to race. He was looking out the window. I stared at his face, lit by the sunset. The contrast shadows from the sun on his fair skin were beautiful, making him look like an angel. "I still don't know why we're moving to Buxford," my little sister Marcy announced, drawing my attention from Dylan's perfectly angelic face. He looked in from the window and half smiled. "There's a job for me there, Mars. I need this. We need this. You'll like it, I promise, baby," my mom claimed. We were moving to Massachusetts, a heavily forested part of Massachusetts, Buxford. Ugh. A place where rain, snow, and cold were no strangers. I sighed at the thought. "It'll be fine," Dylan assured me while kissing my hair. He was moving with us, because he lived alone. His parents were gone. We'd been together since I was in 7th grade at that point, so 6 years then? If I lived with him, we would have had common law pretty soon. He had sold his house and used that money, and some of the parents' insurance money, to buy a small house down the street from my even smaller home. His parents died in a car crash when he was 16. He was allowed to stay alone after he took this weird test. His parents were plastic surgeons, so he had money, enough to live a comfortable life alone. Sometimes I swore that his parents did work on his face at birth. That's how perfect he was. He had refused to be that far away from me. At that point, I was 18 and he was 19. He'd promised me 1,000,000,007 times that when I turned 20 we were going to get married. Though he never asked for my answer, he knew it would have said yes, in a heartbeat. I loved him that much. "I have to go to the bathroom. Can you pull over, Ma?" Marcy always found a way to break up a moment between two people. That quality in her drove me insane. "We're almost there, Mars. Can't you just hold it?" I asked quietly. She turned awkwardly in her seat to face Dylan and I. "No, I can't hold it, Gianna. I need to go," she hissed through her teeth. She was so pissed, and I didn't know why. Then I remembered that Mother Nature had brought her a nice little monthly package for the first time. I started to giggle. She turned bright red, ironically, and turned in her seat to face Dylan and I. "I'll pull over in town. Wait 2 seconds, baby. My mom always tried to calm my 11-year-old sister down." She sighed. I looked at Dylan. He was smiling at me. I wiggled myself up to kiss him. The kiss was sweet, soft, and warm, like always. I melted back down and laid my head on his chest. He kissed the top of my head and laid his on mine. "Thank God!" Marcy yelled when we pulled into a gas station. She thought if she didn't go to the bathroom every 2 hours, she would bleed to death. Marcy ran into the bathroom while Dylan offered to pump gas. My mom and I walked to the drink and snack machines. "Thirsty?" she asked quietly. "A little," I admitted. I glanced at Dylan. His eyes met mine. I motioned towards the soda machines and mouthed the words, "Are you thirsty?" He nodded. I got the drinks and brought them to the car, and left them in the back seat while I went to go find Marcy. It was foggy and cold. I knocked on the bathroom door. "Marcy, are you okay in there?" I teased. "I'm fine, leave me alone," she growled. I went to walk away when I heard something behind me in the woods. Laughing. I spun around quickly. I saw a girl about my age and a boy my age, playing there. They both had chalk-white skin and rich golden eyes. The girl had a thick mop of wavy chocolate-brown hair. The boy had a perfectly messy reddish-brown style going on. The boy looked like he was personally made by the gods, and the girl, just as gorgeous. But there was something strange about her. She reminded me of my father, or at least the picture I had of him. My mom had a fling with him in 1993. She ran away when she found out that he had another daughter. Charlie Swan, my father, was a player. She refused to tell me much else about Charlie, except his name, and that he had a daughter that would be 24 now. The only difference between Charlie and those girls was their eyes. She looked only 18, so she couldn't be Charlie's other daughter. The boy met my gaze, grabbed the girl's hand, and pulled her deep into the forest. They were quickly out of sight. I froze. All of my thoughts were consuming me. Maybe she was my sister. No, maybe I just wanted her to be my sister, because it was my one true dream to find her. I didn't move until I felt a hand on my shoulder. "What's wrong, baby? Gee, what is it?" Dylan asked while swinging me into his arms. Nothing. I'm fine. Let's go," I lied. No, that girl looked 18, not the 24 my sister would be, I thought to myself. Charlie hadn't told my mom much else about his daughter except that she was 6 in 1993. "Let's go, baby. You better tell me what's bugging you later," Dylan commanded. Sometimes I wondered if he could read my mind. We walked to the car where Marcy and my mom were waiting. Marcy was writing a letter to her dad, Bob, who divorced Carol 4 years earlier. I read the letter through the window for a second. "Dear Dad, I hate it. I've only been here for 10 seconds, and I hate it. Say hi to Doreen for me. Love, Marcy. P.S. Save me." I laughed at her unnecessarily closed mind. She looked up from her letter and glared at me while flipping it over. Dylan was laughing too, but not as happily as I was. I think he was still trying to figure out what was bothering me. We got in the car, and Carol started driving towards the unnatural opening in the trees. We were moving to the shadiest part of Oxford. Of the world, in my eyes. It made me want to puke. I love the sun. Dylan loved the sun. We all loved the sun. Why are we moving to Shade Valley? I nicknamed it when I googled out my new street. The house was small and cottage-like. It was made of stone and had a garden on the sign. "It's so pretty," Marcy yelled as she jumped out of the minivan. "Ma, this house is so Snow White and the 7 doors. It's like written all over it," I teased. Marcy ran to sit on the stairs of the porch. She crumpled up the old letter to her dad and began a new one. It was softer. She wasn't digging the pencil into the paper anymore, and she wrote in script. She only did that when she was really happy. "Dear Daddy, I love it. It's great. Say hello to everybody for me. Love, Marcy." I laughed again and helped unload the car of our things. I picked up 2 toasters. "Which one's yours, babe?" I asked Dylan. He laughed. "The one with my name on it." I looked at the tags of the toaster. One said nothing, and the other said Dylan's name. Giggled and left Dylan's in the car. Once everything was unloaded, I went to my new room. It had a skylight, which made me super excited. I loved watching the stars as I slept. It helped me sleep.